we started calling ourselves Rostrum Bespoke Education Services. Each student is different, has a learning method different from one another, has an understanding, comprehension method different from one another. We're not trying to get them to change their mindset. We're not trying to change the parents' mindset. We're trying to align them with what the world wants.
What sets Rostrum apart from most of these companies?
You need to change your approach and methods and methodology in order to be able to crack the student.
Recently, I started exploring a lot of AI. Are you expanding into that?
Yes, we are creating a few apps, softwares. We are integrating new software into our. The first-hand experience of tutors, teachers, guidance counselors, career mentors, that is never going to be beaten down by AI or any software.
Welcome, Sanjog, to Rostrum Talks. How are you today?
I'm very well, Jeremiah. Thank you for having me here. How are you doing?
Amazing. I'm so glad that you're here. So, Penn State, right?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I think it was one of the best experiences of my life, to be
Really?
very honest with you. I think, a lot of the times I've, my parents and everybody who's gone through this college and then has matured up has always said that, college is the best years of your life. Like it is, those are the best years. You're not going to get them back again.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely true. It was, and for me also, I think the extra 1 year that I had gotten also apart from the college year was also when I was living in Singapore and I was studying there. I started off my IB there. I had transitioned from Delhi to Singapore. I did a few years of schooling there.
Yeah.
And I think my taste to freedom had just started from there, or taste to being independent or, managing on my own a lot of the things. So from there, my I would like to say that the idea of living independently and roaming around alone and being by myself and managing a lot of the things at that age made me more prepared for Penn State, for US.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, US, best 4 years of my life. I don't think I've ever said that out loud, but deep down, I of course know that, the friends I made, the study that I did, the exposure that I had gotten, every time, just simple examples like every time taking a flight all the way from Delhi to, someplace in Middle East or Europe, then transitioning to another flight to all the way to New York. And then from New York, my journey didn't end there. I had to clear out immigration as soon as possible and then take a taxi. Or one of my dad's friends used to pick me up and take me all the way to Chinatown, where we used to get the buses all the way to Pennsylvania.
Oh.
And we used to reach in the middle of night, like 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and 8 a.m. we had classes the next morning.
Oh my God.
So,
really?
I think the hustle and the grind that I learned, that I was comfortable doing in US was the best, but I was also more prepared for it because of my time living alone in Singapore.
So, how old were you when you were in Singapore?
I had just cleared off my IGCSEs. I think I must be like 16 or 17, I think. No, so I was 17 when I went to uni. I was going to turn 18. So that means I must be 15 or 16 at that point of time. So I'm close to 28 now, so about 13, 14, 15 years back. So yeah, so that's what got me the confidence to, explore US or foreign education as a concept, because none of my family members have gotten their education from abroad. So the whole concept of being able to manage alone and live alone, the teaser was Singapore time for me. And the teaser went really well, according to me and my parents. So which is what, US, UK, Europe, even going back to Singapore for higher education, like NUS, SMU, those kind of universities were also an option. So Penn State was amazing.
Yeah. So, why Penn State?
Why Penn State? I think out of the universities that I had gotten, so one of the major problems that happened while I was in Singapore living alone was that I didn't start early prep into universities myself.
Yeah.
Which is what we try at Rostrum now to inculcate. And because I've gone through a lot of the things at Rostrum that we are doing has come from my own personal experience, which we'll, dive into later. But because I only started, when I came back from Singapore, I finished off my IB in Sri Ram School, Malsari, Gurgaon. And when I came back, I realized that, oh shoot, I haven't taken the SATs yet. I have gotten about 33 in my second term exams of, the first year of high school, which after which I transitioned to, Delhi, and then I had just gotten into grade 12. And And I realized like a lot of my peers compared to Singapore, but in Sri Ram school, they have done a lot of things already. To go to US universities, they have
Yeah.
started preparing early. Some of them are even capable of targeting Ivy Leagues. Some of them have even secured throughout grade 11 39, 40 out of 42, 45 IB points throughout their high school. So I felt like I was lagging behind.
Yeah, safe to say it was looking
Yeah.
bleak at that point, right?
Yeah, it looked very bleak at that point in time because I realized, okay, I'll manage it because I was always a bright student. I don't crack under pressure a lot, so I used to just study at the last minute,
Yeah.
like a few weeks or a month or 2 months before the exam.
Gotcha.
And one of my really weak points, honestly, was I think not a lot of people know that my SAT was absolutely horrible. And the reason behind SAT being horrible was because I had always been in an international curriculum all along, like the GCSEs.
Yeah.
And the GCSE, they have the exam for maximum 1.5 hour, 2 hour, two and a
Yeah.
half hour. That's
Yeah.
about it. That's it.
Yeah.
And whereas the SAT, you need to, knack your brain at the exam for the next 3.5 hours.
Okay.
You have to show, the consistency throughout each section. And the whole SAT exam is for 3.5 hours. And I used to just switch off after, 2 or 3 sections when
no.
2.5 hours used to have passed. So my first section that I always attempted, I used to get good scores. But then second section that I used to do when my, brain
Yeah,
just
yeah.
completely switched off, I was never able to get the score. So my super score out of 2400 at that point of time was 2100.
Yeah.
But my single attempt score was only 1900.
Oh.
So a lot of the universities at that point of time were not accepting super scores.
Right,
Based on the super scores, I would have gotten a better university. And the plan was originally to transfer out of Penn State to a better university. But then, just I settled in well.
So you said you went to Sri Ram, right?
Yeah.
So Yatharth also went to Sri Ram. So
Correct.
what was your early friendship like with him?
So to be very honest with you, I think Yatharth and we just became friends at one very common thing, which was roasting other people. That's what we used to do. And I think Yatharth was always, he was there in Sri Ram since grade 11 because he shifted out of a school in Delhi. I came in grade 12. So a year had already passed where he had already made his friendships and everyone was friends together already. And I had just jumped in the middle of the year.
Right.
So I think Yatharth, of course, I unfortunately cannot crack the joke that he cracked on the very first day that I remember what he did. But unfortunately or fortunately, I think, that's what led to a good laugh.
Yeah.
And that's what led to me saying something after that. And then, that's how friendship
I
just
thought,
brewed.
yeah.
Yeah. But overall, if you see from 2013 to 2025, it's now been 12 years. We've been together as friends. And then, we got ourselves promoted to business partners as well because of doing business together.
Let's talk about that. How did you guys end up going into business together?
Rostrum was basically, and I mean, if you've spoken to Yatharth, he would tell you that he was always entrepreneurial. Like he wanted to do something. He belongs to a very, a family business background, and even when I visited London once with him, sorry, not with him, to him, and I was there for a week, and I met him a few times. He said that he would never want to do
work
a
in a
job.
corporate job?
Yeah, like he would not want to do a job. He would do it for a few years. He was very settled in that way. Like he knew that he wanted to at least give it a shot.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I come from a background of my dad's a CA, my mom's a housemaker, right? So, and my dad has always worked in the top-notch companies and top-notch positions and everything, and that too from the finance background.
Right.
Whereas I've done engineering and economics and business finance as a combination of that, and there are no engineers in my family as well. So I always had the technical brain and everything. And whereas Yatharth always was the I would like to say the entrepreneurial guy or like the the businessy side of things. So Rostrum came about basically because Yatharth was teaching tuitions in UK and he had been working a year or two, I think, at PwC London because he graduates a year early and I graduated a year later because US has a 4-year education.
Yeah.
And then whereas I had to go back to Singapore to work in McKinsey, somehow that didn't materialize for certain reasons. And him and I, we were both in Delhi at the same time after my graduation in May or June or something around that time of 2017.
You guys didn't go to each other's graduations?
No, we couldn't because I was
because you were still in school,
I was in the US, he was in the UK.
Yeah.
But when he came back, we met a few times over coffee, drinks and stuff. And He was like, no, I want to come back. I was like, no, listen, like, why? Like, you're already working in PwC London, you're living the life. Like, why do you want to, you're working in a corporate. So he was always like, no, I want to try something. I don't want to think like an employee, or like, I don't want to think like, wherever I can get like free lunches today or free booze today, because that's what he was seeing. That was a very prevalent or a common thing in his, peers in PwC, for example. And when I came back and I tried to get a job in Delhi, PwC, where I had interned before in Gurgaon,
Yeah.
was offering a salary of like 45,000 rupees per month. So that's something I felt like I was better than that. So I was looking for either masters to go abroad, or I
Yeah.
was still trying for better jobs. And he came and we met, and he wanted to, he wanted to quit PwC London, come back to India and see what can be done. So he was going to actually come back in 3 or 4 months, but then he ended up coming within a month. And he said, hey, listen, I know you're free. I know I'm free. So why don't we, explore something together? I said, okay, cool. I mean, no issues. And we came about the idea of, because he was already teaching tuitions in UK, he wanted to start a tuition company. He wanted to start that. I said, okay, then, who do we hire? What do we do? Where do we open it? So I had a, space lying around. So we converted that space into an office in about 3 months or 4 months of
Wow, you
renovation.
really fast tracked
Yeah,
that,
we were like, okay, let's start. What's there to lose, right?
Yeah.
Because we have a space, we don't have to pay rent. And let's see where it takes us, right? If you're going to teach a business or an economic subject, one of our friends, Rahul, who was also in the picture at that point of time, he volunteered. He was also, had come back from UK. He also volunteered. He said, okay, I'll do physics and chemistry and math, for example.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we have 4 main subjects where we need to start pitching tuitions. They've all done IB themselves. So who better than, graduates of these certain universities, of certain ex-IB students who have they just graduated 4 years ago from IB and we all got good scores. So, and I didn't want to teach. So and so we started that office, and we started promoting that, okay, ex-IB students, Sri students, everyone's gotten like a 40 plus, we are giving tuitions at a cheaper rate. That's how we started. And they started taking tuitions, and I, on the other hand, was not interested in giving tuitions, because then there wouldn't be anybody to manage, like, at least the client side of things or the business side of things at that point of time. Because so I used to handle the operations at that point of time, and operations since then have been my very, very strong forte in terms of managing everything. So at that point of time, Rostrum was just an IB service center or a tuition. So we came about the idea, okay, we're not just going to offer these 3 or 4 main subjects. We're going to make it all subjects, all service of IB, all components of IB, and all components of a student wanting to go out or requiring any tuitions at high school level. We're going to teach it here. So we hired a few more tutors, externally. We got a few teachers from Columbia. So they had graduated from Columbia. They'd done their masters. They had done IB themselves. So they were older than us at that point of time, actually. So we hired them. And we got a math, one of our school teachers who taught us math, because he's taught pretty much three of my brothers and sisters apart from me. And so we got him on board. I said, we're doing this venture. I would love to have you here. He joined. And so that's how we became an all under one roof tuition concept.
Got it.
Right? So from there, we started realizing the potential of Rostrum.
But during this process, didn't you ever feel like out of your depth? Like, I'm sure, like, when you're expanding like that, and I'm saying from just teaching like 4 subjects to teaching all subjects and, like, offering all those services, didn't you feel out of depth?
I felt out of depth a lot of times when I was all alone handling it, but then I slowly realized my potential to create systems, create processes, create a streamline of services that I want to create, and how to execute that. Managing timetables. I was very good at managing things, organizing things, like at a very basic level of strength, I would say. And I was very good at managing operations, people management, crisis management. For example, as I said, I don't crack under pressure that easily. So whenever there's a crisis, a tutor was running late or a student was missing classes or something, I was able to manage those kind of situations very well. And slowly, when we started getting good tutors and the students started responding well to the service that we were giving, that increased the confidence and the risk-taking appetite as well.
Recently, I started exploring a lot of AI. Are you expanding into that? Like, are you doing anything with it right now?
Sure. So what I would like to say here about AI and education, or AI and tuitions or classrooms or career counseling or university counseling, is that AI is going to quicken the tasks that we have at hand. Say, for example, you want to make a university shortlist based on which ones are going to give you financial aid or scholarships, for example,
Yeah.
right? Or how to understand a concept.
Right.
It's not going to teach you that. It's not going to make you learn how to do that on
For
your own.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
going to give you a solution. It's going to give you how to solve a problem. It's going to as I said, quicken the time of going to individual universities, web pages, and researching. But it's not going to teach you anything.
Right.
You need a teacher to teach you. You need a guidance person to give you guidance, to give you their expert opinion, not just AI. So it's going to work in conjunction to the physical existence of teachers and guidance counselors. It's going to help us, be more efficient, help us probably even be more accurate.
Yeah.
But the first-hand experience of tutors, teachers, guidance counselors, career mentors, that is never going to be beaten down by AI or any software. And yes, as far as Rostrum thinking about exploring AI or that is concerned, yes, we are creating a few apps, softwares. We are integrating a new software into our counseling system, and we're going to be using AI in order to help our students, their parents, and our in-house counselors and external counselors who will be using that system in order to, as I said, quicken the tasks that we have at hand or shorten the processing time. Say, for example,
Yeah.
if today I'm not using AI, and I tell my colleague or my team that, hey, listen, I need, I spoke to a student, I need a, list of universities for which the university applications are still open and also has a Jan 26 intake. What are they going to do? They're going to, we cannot have a database for it because
Right.
because the
It's constantly
information keeps
changing,
getting
right?
updated or changes or the requirements change. So they go to each university's website, the 8-10 universities that I'm going to give them, and they're going to then make an Excel out of it. So what the AI is going to do is process all of that data together in a few minutes, and they can go over that data, verify it quickly.
Yeah.
They know where exactly to find that data, quickly verify it, and it shortens the process by an hour, 2 hours, half an hour, 3 hours sometimes. I know a lot of people are also using AI to write essays and stuff, but hey,
Right.
they made AI as soon as they made AI to write essays, they had an AI essay checker as well. So, we're the ones who are creating solutions, but then we're also double checking, how
Yeah.
to be genuine, right?
Yeah.
How do you be genuine? Because that is a person to person thing, human to human interaction thing, right? So that is why you need that human touch along with any level of technology in order to, perform, at the peak of efficiency, I would say, and also be more efficient in terms of utilizing your time well. I feel
Yeah.
in our industry, in education consulting, you need to be up to date what is happening. You need to utilize your time effectively so that you can help more kids or you can help them in much more detail or much more depth as well. So yeah, so I feel AI in classrooms, AI in career counseling and suggestions is amazing.
Yeah.
It's gonna help the teachers. It's never gonna replace the tutors or the
Got
human
it.
interaction, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do know that with services, scaling is always like a really big issue. But right now, you've overcome a bunch of hurdles on your journey here. But right now, what would you say the company is facing, like a challenge that the company is facing?
Right. So, I mean, scaling, as you rightly said, that scaling is happening, but the scaling also comes at a lot of pressure, I would like to say. Scaling is very difficult in a service industry only because you cannot, because in a product, you can replace the product, you can get more machines, you can get different ways to, build more products or be more efficient, replace products if there is a problem with the product as
Yeah.
well, with the customers, with the consumers. With service, how can you replace a service?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? With service, it's actually because you lose quality when the co-founder or the first people who actually started the company, who got it to reach a certain level, are not involved anymore, and you get external people to
Yeah, step in and
step
fill
in
in.
and do the work or contribute or take half of the work that you were doing, for
Right.
example. There's going to be a loss of quality. It's not entirely because a person is just an employee or he's not the co-founder, he's not going to be able to do it. Sometimes it's just they're not able to follow what we did to that level of execution, or even be that motivated, right?
Right.
Like, because at the end of the day, you cannot have everybody to have that motivation to, oh, I want to do something in life, right? Sometimes people just want to do a good job and come back home, and there's nothing wrong with it. So scaling, I feel, happens, you only are able to scale when the co-founder or the founder is able to focus on other things, which is leading to scaling.
Right.
And then there are other people who are handling a lot of the operations or your day-to-day tasks, and that happens through team.
Yeah.
So the team is very important when you're scaling. I think that's one of the most important things when you're scaling. We started calling ourselves Rostrum Bespoke Education Services.
Good,
Right. So and this links back to the question that you had asked me, that how do you think AI is going to solve a lot of our problems or in classrooms? Again, AI is going to give you one solution for all kinds of kids, or one kind of way to solve a problem, or one response to a particular way to solve a problem to all the students.
Right.
But sometimes a student requires a more hand-holding, a more broken down answer or an explanation, which is why from teaching to career counseling to how to get into jobs and internships, it's very person to person oriented. Like, for example, you might be more analytical and somebody else might be more technical, right?
Right.
So you need to change your approach and methods and methodology in order to be able to crack the student and help them understand their problems. For example, Three Idiots, right? For example, or not Three Idiots, that movie, Tare Zameen Par, right? Darshil Safari did not understand math, man. He understood art. He could understand creativity through art. He projected his creativity and his intelligence through art. So we get a lot of students. I have interacted with a student actually, who wanted to study music, but his parents didn't want to let him study music, right? So it was a bit of a tough challenge to tell the father and the mother that, hey, listen, he wants to study music, let him study music. What he can do is he can apply to a university where music and economics both are being taught, so that he can do both.
Perfect.
So that's an approach, and that could be done in US.
Right.
So we pitched them US applications process. We made them understand how he can do both, and then once he graduates, he can pick and choose whatever he wants to do, and you can at that point of time realign what the world wants versus what you want, versus what the demand is in the economy, and versus what the kid wants. So we have to change our approach for each student. We have to, the concept of tuitions. Why are we giving tuitions to students? Because sometimes what they're doing in lessons, they're not able to understand, and they want to come back home and revise it with somebody and be more thorough with their understanding.
Right.
So we are giving tuitions, right? So each student is different, has a learning method different from one another, has an understanding comprehension method different from one another. So because of that, we have to change our approach with each student. We have to change the way they think. So we have to align ourselves with them and then get them to meet at a common point. We're not trying to get them to change their mindset. We're not trying to change the parents' mindset. We're trying to align them with what the world wants and with what we can help with and what they should be doing as well.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We started, of course, we started as tuitions, education or subject curriculum tutoring.
Right.
Then we, started adding standardized testing prep for undergrad and postgrad candidates, so which is SAT, ACT, GMAT, GRE, and the curriculum tutoring usually entails mostly international curriculums, the ones that we have done ourselves, like IGCSE, IB, A levels, AP, and then from the third department of the vertical that we have is counseling. University counseling, guidance counseling,
Right.
which is basically helping high school and university level, bachelor level students crack, top universities, top 50, top 20, top 30 universities globally. The point of Rostrum is that it's the whole thing as a hurdle, and you get help each and every, at each and every pathway or each and every decision making time, or any time that your life is going to alter, your career is going to take a new direction. So this is what we do. Skill building is basically something that we've newly launched, and skill building is basically soft skill development to students. Even for example, saying or before answering a question is actually not looked greatly or observed greatly, or doesn't get you the highest points in an interview, be it a university interview, or be it a college interview, or be it a job interview, or be it an internship interview. So why don't we start developing those skills from a younger age? When you're young adults or when you're high school students, you start telling them about these things. You start telling them about how you should think, how you should answer a question, how you should be prepared for an interview, what current affairs you should be even, be aware about. Because, when I went to university, I did not think about getting a job for the first 2.5 years. I never went to the
Really?
career play, the career fairs that we used to have. 500 companies used to show up in my college every semester. And I never went to a career fair for 2 years, 4 semesters. I
Wow.
missed out on these opportunities thinking, okay, I have a good GPA, I'll, get to the
It'll
jobs and
happen,
internships
right?
later on down the line. And then now the skills in the career that we're trying to make is, law firms, top banking firms, consulting firms,
Yeah.
top financial institutions, private equity, investment banking. Those are the kind of industries that we have experts for right now. And we are
Okay.
trying to tell our students from undergrad level or high school level that, okay, if you're targeting any of these four industries, these are the baby steps that you can start thinking about, taking about right now. And then eventually it will develop and evolve into a real chance for you to try at, these top institutions when you're, because at the end of the day, you care about the return on investment that your parents are going to be making
Of
on,
course.
the multiple crores and thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars that you have to spend.
Yeah.
It's not easy to come back to, the home country and thinking that you don't have a job. It's a very shitty feeling, to be very honest. And it's okay to feel that, because again, I did that. It happened from me. It happened from my own experience. It happened from my own life. And it was a shitty feeling for me, at least. I felt, because I didn't have a business to go back to. As I said, my dad doesn't have a
Yeah.
business, right?
It's not.
So, and eventually this happened and it turned out to be very good in hindsight. Okay, I came back, I met, Yatharth.
Yeah.
He met me at the right time, I met him at the right time. We had a place at the right time and we cracked everything. But so these are the, services that we offer right now. And then, of course, career services just recently launched, but the person who's been doing it has been doing it for the last 25 years now.
Wow.
So we have an impeccable track record again from day one.
Right, right.
And we have about 2 more verticals that we are planning on launching sometime by the end of 25 and 26.
Okay.
So again, can't divulge more details, but yeah, look out for
But
Rostrum's news. Yeah.
I'm loving how Rostrum is expanding. From just hearing you talk about how you started to where you are now and how you're still looking to expand, it's really motivating.
Jeremiah, all I would like to say, we've just started. We've just started, and we've just picked up our pace right now. From there, I have a team of 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 people sitting here right now. And this, from 20 people to 45 people, we have just expanded in the last 2 years only.
I'm loving
And
it. Yeah.
we know now our office space is cramped up. We are creating a new office. We have office in Dubai. We're getting one. We have one in Hong Kong already.
Yeah.
We are going to expand to Europe as well sometime very soon. And from me, I want to inculcate this for Rostrum as a brand as well. That it is a brand that has changed mindsets or developed or evolved mindsets, if not changed mindsets. I feel Rostrum, I want them to impact kids and parents and schools and counselors and management and systems and processes in a certain way, where we are working all together for the success of the student and we're not abiding by what we knew versus what the rules allow us to do. I want it to be an ethos and an ecosystem and environment where the single point agenda is the student and the success of the student and the mental and physical well-being of the student. And I honestly, the last thing I want to say is I want to redefine what success actually means for a parent or in this world for a student.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of Rostrum Talks.
Thank you for having me. I mean, it's amazing, and I hope this goes out to the students and everybody else as well. They learn something from it. If not, just enjoy me talking, I guess. Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.